I never planned to fall in love that night. I only meant to cover for my brother one harmless blind date, pretend to be him, eat, smile, and leave. But when she looked at me with those warm, curious eyes and asked, "Will we meet again next time?" I realized I had stepped into something far bigger than a simple favor, something that would change all three of our lives. I shouldn't have agreed to go in my brother Daniel's place, but he stood in the hallway, jacket half worn, guilt written all over his face. "Please, Ethan. I can't cancel again. She's a friend of my coworker, and they'll think I'm rude. Just go for me, pretend you're me, have dinner, and leave. I'll fix it later." It sounded simple enough. He had a twisted ankle from basketball and could barely walk. I didn't think much of it. Daniel often mixed me into his plans whenever things got chaotic. I sighed, grabbed his coat, and went to the restaurant. Was warm and golden, a soft escape from the cold night outside. I scanned the room until my eyes found her. She sat by the window, fingers curled around a cup of mint tea, the faintest smile on her lips. Her dark hair fell over her shoulders like a quiet waterfall. She looked up, saw me approaching, and her smile deepened, gentle, inviting, almost familiar. For a moment, I forgot the plan. Forgot the lie. Forgot everything. "You must be Daniel," she said softly. My chest tightened. Something inside me whispered, "Tell the truth." But her voice carried no suspicion, only excitement. And before I could gather courage, I nodded, "I'm Daniel." She introduced herself as Maya. Her voice had warmth, like she lived life fully but quietly, always taking the time to feel things deeply. She wasn't like the people I usually met. She didn't rush, didn't pretend, didn't try to impress. She asked questions not out of politeness but genuine interest. "What brings you joy these days?" she asked. Joy. The question caught me off guard. I stumbled through half-honest, half-safe answers: music, running, sketching. She listened to each one as though it was poetry. We talked for hours. The restaurant slowly emptied, lights dimmed, the world outside grew darker, but the space between us only grew brighter. She laughed at my jokes, ones Daniel never would have told. She listened to my stories, stories I should never have shared. With her, time didn't just pass, it unfolded like a new chapter one didn't want to end, but every beautiful moment came with a sharp reminder piercing through my chest. I'm lying to her. I tried to convince myself it didn't matter. This was a one-time thing. She'd meet Daniel later, they'd get along, maybe even fall in love. I would fade into the background as I always did. The good brother. The responsible one. The one who cleaned up messes. But then the night reached its quiet end. We stood outside under the soft glow of the streetlights, breath-forming little clouds in the cold air. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, looked up at me, and asked a question that turned my world upside down: "Will we meet again next time?" Her eyes held hope. Not politeness. Not formality. Hope, and in that moment, I felt something both beautiful and crushing. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to promise everything. But the lie between us was too heavy to ignore. I opened my mouth, then closed it. She smiled, thinking I was just shy. She didn't push. She just waved gently and walked away, leaving me under the street lamp with a heart full of something I wasn't ready to name. I went home with her voice echoing inside me. And for the first time in years, Daniel noticed the storm behind my silence. "How did it go?" he asked. I hesitated. "You should meet her," I whispered. "She's amazing." But my voice cracked, and Daniel frowned, finally understanding that something wasn't right that night. As I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, I realized the truth. I went to the blind date for my brother, but somewhere along the way, I stopped being his stand-in, and I became myself. I tried to avoid thinking about her, but life doesn't loosen its grip just because we ask it to. For days her voice lingered in the quiet moments, her smile replayed in the back of my mind, and her laughter floated into my thoughts like an unfinished melody. Daniel texted her the next day, as agreed. He introduced himself properly and apologized for missing the date. She responded politely but briefly. No warmth. No excitement. That told me everything I feared but already knew. She wasn't waiting for him, she was waiting for the version of Daniel she met that night. She was waiting for me. The guilt twisted inside me. I couldn't tell her the truth. I couldn't tell Daniel how I felt. And I couldn't pretend nothing happened. Days became a week. A week became 2. Daniel tried talking to her again, but she always gave short replies, not unkind, just uninterested. Eventually he shrugged it off. "Guess we're not a match," he said, unconcerned, but I was. Those words hit me harder than they should have. Harder than I wanted Daniel to see. He must have sensed something, because one evening he walked into my room, leaned against the doorframe, and crossed his arms. "You like her?" I froze. He repeated softly, "Ethan, you like her, don't you?" Silence stretched painfully. I didn't have to speak, my face already confessed everything. Daniel sat beside me, exhaled slowly, and placed a hand on my shoulder. "Why didn't you tell me?" Because it wasn't supposed to be about me, I said. You asked for a favor, and I messed everything up. She thinks I'm you. I lied to her. And now she doesn't want to see you, and she can't see me. It's all ruined. Daniel chuckled softly, shaking his head. You think one messed up blind date ruined everything? Ethan, if she connected with you even through a lie, it's because she liked you. Not my name. Not the plan. You. But I betrayed her trust, I whispered. Then fix it, he said simply. Tell her the truth. My heart thudded in my chest. What if she never wants to see me again? Daniel smiled. Or what if she's been waiting for you this whole time? The question jolted something inside me. Maybe courage. Maybe hope. I spent the whole night crafting a message, deleting it, rewriting it, deleting it again. Words felt too small, too shallow. So I didn't send anything. Instead, the next evening, I went to the same restaurant where we first met, and she was there sitting alone. Tea in her hands. By the same window. Looking out as if searching the world for a missing piece. My breath caught. It felt like fate, or a second chance I didn't deserve. I approached quietly. She looked up. The moment her eyes met mine, something shifted. Her breath hitched, her lips parted slightly. Recognition flickered, not for Daniel, but for the man who made her laugh under golden lights. I sat down across from her. Before she could speak, I whispered, My name is Ethan. Her eyes widened. I came in my brother's place that night, I continued, voice trembling. I shouldn't have lied. I'm sorry. Truly. I understand if you never want to see me again. But I couldn't carry the lie any longer. Not after what that night meant to me. Silence wrapped around us. Long, heavy. Terrifying. Then she exhaled, a soft, trembling release. I knew something was off, she admitted. Daniel's messages felt different. But that night with you? Her eyes softened. It felt real. Honestly real. I thought I imagined it. I thought maybe I misread everything. You didn't, I whispered, her lips curved into the gentlest smile. So, she murmured, now that I finally know your real name. She leaned slightly forward, eyes shining with hope and something new, something fragile, but alive. Will we meet again next time? Emotion surged through me, relief, joy, disbelief. I nodded, unable to hide my smile. Yes, I whispered. As myself. Every time. The world outside the window glowed with evening lights, and for the first time, the weight I carried dissolved into something bright, something possible. Love didn't ask for perfect timing, it asked for truth, and truth, finally, had given us both a beginning.